Hello, good morning. Relaxing on the lounge. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's funny how thoughts come into your mind, and in the still of the night, you are able to maybe put together your thoughts, maybe easier than during the hustle and bustle of each day. So I always feel it's a good idea that strike while the iron's hot. I do my shorts every day. I add them to my thoughts for the day. And of course, most of you will realize that they're just either videos that I've done before or they're scenes that I can link maybe a theme or a thought in music. And I hope that some of you enjoy watching them. But most of my thoughts for the day are designed to give you insights, an ability to think before you make that big move. Because as we get older, in a way, we have less options. We have less opportunity to make mistakes, to go down the wrong road. And it is so important that when we make the decision to come to a foreign land, all the way over here to the Philippines, that we do so with the knowledge that we have the ability, the wherewithal, to weather all kinds of storms, not just typhoons, but storms within our own, I suppose, tiny little lives. Because there really is nobody, and I mean no one really, that can help you deal with it except yourself. And if you don't have the wherewithal to be able to sort it out, to be able to ensure that what you're doing is going to be okay, reassurance is what we really all need. No one can guarantee a good life. No one can guarantee a good relationship. But you know in your own self what is in front of you, ahead of you. In other words, what you're looking for. And when you do see it, it's sometimes a little hard to recognize it. I've seen some disasters on YouTube, and they're not disasters in the sense that they were bound to happen. It's just that they have happened. They're disasters and choices that people have made. There are often just simply disasters in the kind of characters that you see on there. I mean, it's probably not fair to pick on anyone particularly because we're all individuals. But within a relationship, I think one of the hardest things when it's a relationship with a foreign person, yes, women and men are pretty much the same anywhere where we are in the world. And we can't just pick on Filipinos and say, well, they don't understand us or they're just gold diggers, or they're only interested because they see you as an ATM. Because for many of you, I'm sure that won't change. Then you have to ask yourself, why are you here? Why are you putting yourself through all this? And I suppose really because we don't have many choices. The options are limited. I talk and speak with people that are planning to come here, people who have come here with the idea of settling down, finding a woman. But it's not as simple as that. It's often a case of you really have to know that you're in the right place, not necessarily the right home, the right area. It's just knowing that that's where you're going to feel most comfortable. And many of you, of course, have preconceived ideas that you must have aircon, you must have fans, you must have this. And these are just superficial requirements to one's everyday thought, what we think we need. You know, coming to the Philippines is a completely different way of life. And I suppose that's what we don't prepare ourselves for. Some of us come, I have comments all the time about how, I couldn't live with all the cock-a-doodle-doos or the noise of motorbikes revving up every day. It's like in London, there's many, many train lines that go almost hit the side of a building, and people buy these homes and they live in them. And they get on with their lives. They live there all their lives. They can pretty well subconsciously time their whole world around the next sound of a train going by. How could you live with a train rumbling past your window every day at 9 o'clock, at 3:15, at 2:25? But people do. And do they go crazy? No. In a way, they adapt and block that part of their irritating life out. But within relationships here, I think one of the biggest, bugbears here is, it's like I've talked about before about communication. It's always going to be a problem when you don't speak the language. And yes, there are the unique ones out there who have the ability to pick up language with the minimal of ease, or difficulty, I should say, but they're far and far between. It is a difficult language to pick up. You can pick up sayings, you can pick up little comments by way of the mixture of English, maybe a bit of Spanish sounding words, but they nevertheless make you always realize you're outside of what is generally seen as understanding what's going on around you. So you are in the dark, you're stumbling along through life, using the other points, eyes, ears, sound, vision. And that's difficult. That's difficult because it's not normal for you and I to live our lives like that. Within relationships, we often want to talk about things. We're brought up often to discuss things, try and get to the bottom issues. How can you when you really can't get their attention, let alone understanding of what you're really truly trying to say? Often we look for words of encouragement. We look for words of reassurance, a feeling that you're on the right track. Now, if the person that you're trying to express those thoughts to is incapable, that's the word, incapable, to connect in the same way that you have been able to all your life discuss things with friends, family, lovers, wives, then that's a big hole to fill. It's a big ask. And I suppose really what I'm saying is that life can be very difficult, a challenge, but why do we do it? Especially when we get older. It just seems, in the big picture of things, a pointless exercise. And then how do we, when we discover that that is that, when and how do we master it all? Life can be a bowl of cherries, can't it? But it also can be very confusing, even for a 77-year-old. It's just my thought for the day, as muddled as it might be, but it's nevertheless, I believe it's an important thing to think about. Some might say it's a bit too deep. Maybe. But we all need to know, don't we? I hope you can work it all out. Join me in the muddle. Bye now.